Hello, my name is Charles Preston, and I would like to thank you all for coming. This speech is about companion animals. Um, I have a traumatic brain injury, so I need a companion animal to take care of. It helps me along in my recovery, and it makes me worry about somebody else other than myself. Um, this speech is going to be about how people with traumatic brain injuries um, that have a companion animal recover faster than people without. Um, like I said, I have a traumatic brain injury. My companion animal is a 7-year-old black lab. He doesn't really do anything physical wise, opening doors, or I can't bring him to stores or any of that type of stuff. He's just around, and he makes sure to let me know when he needs to go outside and go to the bathroom or whatever the case may be. Um, he also gives me something to take care of. Instead of worrying about just myself, I have to worry about him as well. Um, statistics show, many statistics show that people with a TBI or traumatic brain injury have a greater chance of recovery than people without. Um, People with a companion animal have a 90%, 80 to 90% greater chance of recovering faster than somebody without a companion animal. If you do not have a companion animal and you have a traumatic brain injury, the chances of you recovering faster is 40 to 50%. It's pretty low as far as I'm concerned. Um, your traumatic brain injury never goes away. It gets a little bit better every day, but you're never going to be 100% again. Um, you Most people don't remember how they got a traumatic brain injury, um, but I feel that having a companion animal um, really helped along with my recovery. I had him prior to getting my TBI, and he instantly turned into a companion animal. More worried about what I was doing and how I was doing. He'd follow me around everywhere in the house. Um, he'd make sure I was okay. Um, he, if he doesn't like somebody, he'll stand in between us and won't move. Unless I tell him it's okay, then he'll move. People with a traumatic brain injury need to have some sort of companion animal, whether it be a dog or even a cat or something, a bird or some sort of furry animal, not a fish. A fish, it really doesn't do much for being a companion animal. Um, Furry animals, like I said, you have a greater chance of recovering faster than if you do not have a companion animal. Um, and that is very helpful in your recovery. Um, I would like to thank everybody for coming, and I hope you enjoyed my speech.